Well, good evening, welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Oxter, on the show. There's the one and only Linda, and the legend that is the bridge. Evening, boys, evening, girls. How we doing? Linda?
Evening, Oxter, evening, Bridgeman. Good evening to all the listeners too. I hope you're all keeping well.
I'm going to say a big good evening to yourself, Oxter, and of course, Linda. You need to carry me strongly today, Linda. And Foxy and Terry in the background. I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, you're here. We beat them. Keep it going for the Rangers.
Oh, Bridge, we better deal with ourselves. We get marauders.
I know. It's shocking. I was trembling. A minute ago.
Sergeant Major.
Oh my God, I was trembling there.
Sorry.
Foxy, you get in there and cover
I
it.
I know my place, mate. I know my place. Right, Linda. Thoughts?
Well, it's funny how the result in a performance in a football match can fairly cheer you up, Ox and Bridge, isn't it? I think we deserved it, I think, didn't we, the fans? I think that one was very much for us. I think Ox, every Rangers fan would have been pleased after the game. Thoroughly deserved the victory, got a good performance as well. And it's funny, Ox, if you don't give silly goals away and you take your chances, you can win most football matches, can't you?
Yes, it's an easy solution to not a difficult problem, Bridge.
No, it's no difficult, really. I may say that well done to the manager and all the players. They were just absolutely superb. A great show. Well done. And I thought that there was one wee blunder, and that was from Ryan Kent. But we managed to resolve that.
Ryan Kent he was the player.
Sorry, Ryan Jack. Sorry, and of course they managed to get through and get a couple of shots at goal, and one of them was a nice wee chip, but unfortunately for them, it hit the post. But other than that, I think that's about all they've done to us, or against us, should I say. I thought we were absolutely magnificent to a man, and I'll say it now. I've said it on one of the forums there. As far as I'm concerned, I take my words back. I'll eat my words. I'm eating humble pie, quite a lot of it, for the big boy Suter. He had a fantastic game, and he will be I hope he's going to be a great sign for us. So apologies, humble pie.
Mate, listen, it takes a big man to admit when he's wrong, Bridge.
I got that wrong. By the look of it, I got that wrong.
Oh, we'll wait and see, mate. In that performance, John Suter will do for me also. Linda, you summed it up flippantly there, but I think you're spot on. You take your chances, goals change games, takes the pressure off the defence, you can make the odd error, your goalie makes a save, and you got the part and you score a third one. It's take your chances and the game change. That's the mistake. That's the errors. That's the error we've made. No take my chances, and then the errors at the back thrown in, real schoolboy errors, similar to the third goal for them. And it changes the football match.
Yeah, absolutely, Ox. And like, the big picture doesn't change. We know that there's a rebuild needing done and there's big changes, right? But if you look at the last before the weekend's game, the previous 3 Old Firm games, right? You're talking about us making terrible errors, not taking our chances. And I know within that there was patchy performances as well, but yes, we didn't get the results, but the gap is not as big as probably it was when you think about the first Old Firm game of the season. And I'm not saying in any way, shape or form that we were brilliant or anything, but you just said it there. We made terrible mistakes and we missed open goals. And you might have gone on and actually got equalisers, and then who knows what happened after that. But absolutely spot on. We took our chances at the weekend. They made a terrible error that we capitalised on. So, that it was quite similar to the previous games. But I thought our overall performance in Saturday was terrific, and everybody really got pass marks, I think, Ox.
There was one man to do, Bridgeman.
I thought there was a couple of heroes, to be honest. I thought the Suter for me was brilliant, and I thought that
you don't have good players at centre half, mate. There was one man to do.
Behave yourself. think that young Todd Cantwell showed what he's got.
Or as his friends call him, Todd the Prod.
Todd the Prod. That's quite good. But no, I think he showed a lot of class. And by goodness gracious, he showed he's got a great engine. You think not that long ago people were wondering if he's going to make it in Scottish football because of the pace, but he showed that he's built himself up to great heights now. I think he was superb, man of the match, and I thought he would be closely followed by Rashkan. I thought Rashkan had a great game as well. I'm not taking anything away from anyone. There were some tremendous performances, and notwithstanding the goalkeeper, what a performance he put in. So well done to everyone for that. I thought Rangers thoroughly deserved their victory, and I thought if we had scored 4 or 5, nobody could have complained because that team were done. Celtic were done. When that third goal went in, they were done. They were whitewashed, as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm.
So end could have happened.
When we started the game well and we got the goal, Cantwell done what we've not done, Linda. He hit the target.
Yeah, absolutely, Ox. And you're right there. We started the game really well, and it got the crowd up. You know, the crowd were up for the game anyway, an old firm game, but it was really important to start well. And the atmosphere, look, it was amazing. It sounded fantastic. You could see everybody was up for it. So when Lundstrom's shot was blocked, came out to Cantwell, and as you've rightly said, we've had similar instances recently where it's come off the post and came back to a player. And as you said, he just gets his body right over it, hits it right first time before the goalkeeper's got a chance to even steady himself, and it's 1-0, and the stadium absolutely erupted. But that start, Ox, was what we were looking for: high tempo and really on the front foot.
Yeah, the whole team was playing well. I've got to give credit to the 2 centre-halves at that point as well, but they were being aggressive and defending, if that makes sense, to try and win the ball back.
Can you just repeat that first bit about who you give credit to?
The whole team was playing well, even the centre-halves.
Oh, you liar. You gave credit to the centre-halves. A slip of your tongue there, boy. I agree with you. I thought they were excellent.
Do you know how they made the two? You know how they make a centre-half?
Go on then.
Go on.
Have they failed their quality?
Oh, listen to that. Yeah, Wayne Bellion. My goodness gracious. But by the way, you'd probably know that far wrong.
No, I thought they were the catalyst, and when we pushed up and aggressive, we were defending, and we were trying to get at them, and Cantwell with his energy moving about and winning the ball back, closing the guy, Gun McGregor. They'd never had to go. They were going from side to side, getting themselves in a puzzle, and we were attacking. Sakala comes down the wing, he goes at him, he plays the ball to Lundstrom. Lundstrom has the shot, Bridgeman. Wasn't a great save by Hart. He should have, in my opinion, should have done better, but that's the luck of the game of football, and a great finish with Cantwell. All right, he went through his legs, but he hit it well, Bridge.
He did. Hit it onto the ground, and it went flying. Whoa! Great pace on it, and he couldn't close his legs at all. And he had no time to close them. So I thought a great goal by Cantwell, and of course the Rangers fans just loved that. Just loved it. It's just brilliant. And I think you mentioned their captain McGregor. I thought that's the poorest I've ever seen him play against the Rangers. He's never played as poorly as that. So there you go. We did something right, a number of things right, and one of them was getting him done. That's us.
But the guy that was playing against him, Bridge, is that's the thing that surprised me about Cantwell. I thought when Cantwell came, he might be somebody that would open up defences for us, Linda, and he'd have flicks and turns and thingies. Yeah. But what he's done, it surprised us. He puts his foot in, he goes chasing, and he wants to win the ball back.
Yeah, his effort was absolutely fantastic, and to be fair to him, Ox, he's been like that since he came in. You know, he's just sometimes we've just not had the fortune to go on and maybe win games when he's played well, particularly the Old Firm games. But he definitely has work rate. You're right. We thought we were getting maybe a flair player who would maybe create things, as you say, some tricks and some skill, but his work rate and the effort that he puts into the games, long may that continue. He was back in his own half winning the ball, and then he was up in the opposition half trying to create things. You obviously come on to the third goal in due course, but his effort and his desire, and he's really quickly become a fan's favourite. And with the Rangers support, that's a big thing, Ox. We don't have we've not had a lot of heroes this season, and there's nothing wrong with having somebody that you just think, wow, you're looking forward to seeing him play. But terrific all-round performance from Todd Cantwell, absolutely.
So we get the first goal, and if I'm being honest, they came into it right away. Frank Jack had the loose pass out on the left-hand side. Yeah, the left-hand side, they broke away a couple of passes up the park, and the guy was going through and goal, chipped, hit that bit of luck, but maybe no hunt all season when it comes off the post and goes our way. Even then, the young boy McCrory had stumbled on, unfortunately, and then the ball hit the post. First bit of luck we'll maybe had in a big game all season, Bridge.
Absolutely, you're right. And I think that's probably the only time that our team had done this silly. We lose possession in a crucial point of the game and a crucial time in the game. Where I think this time we weren't scared to boot the ball out the park, and that's goes for everyone. Just dab it out the park, out the way. Just don't give it away and let them run past you, which they've done before. Now, can I just say that boy Todd Cantwell? I have to say, he reminds me of some of the boys I played beside. They're playing in junior. And some of these guys were tough guys, and they were Neds, or Nebs rather, right in there. And I watch him, Cantwell, and he's no scared to face the people up and give them some verbal. I think it's fabulous, brilliant. Reminds me of bad midfielders,
Yeah, well, you need a blend to have a football team, Bridge.
Of course you do. That's bad midfielders and good ones.
I thought you were going to say reminded you of Ox there.
Oh, well, you're right. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you said that.
There is a lot of similarities.
Maybe dear.
No, right enough. Maybe no. Right, but so we get the second goal for a corner, and I was really pleased for Big John Souttar, because obviously he's not a great season on and off the pitch with what he's had to deal with, and sometimes you give him and his family a lift. I know his brother's done well in the World Cup, but they've lost a brother, a young man, and puts everything into perspective. And then he gets the second goal, and it takes the pressure off us, and you could just see the party begin to start at Ibrox, Linda.
Yeah, it was a terrific header. And I don't think he got a lot of credit for it on the commentary that I was watching anyway, but we'll no bother going into that. He did have to work hard to win the header. He beat the Celtic defender to the ball. He was quite close to him. And at first when you saw it, you weren't sure if it had gone straight in or it had deflected in, but when you saw it from the different angles, it was an absolutely terrific header, and then he went away to celebrate. But I think you're right, Ox. Everybody was very pleased for him. He's had a difficult season, as you say, both on and off the park. And it's early doors. We want to see more of him, but I think we've always thought he is a decent footballer, and we just want to see more of him. And he obviously played on the left-hand side of the defence as well. So brilliant goal.
Gets a goal, and his all-round play was fine. But that'll do for us, Bridge, won't it? No mistakes. Won his headers, gets a goal, cleared his lines. That's it.
Yeah, and we've said it for the last few weeks now. Your centre half, whoever he is, whoever's going to take the weight as centre half, they've got to clear the lines. Rose Ed, the damn thing. If that's what you want to do, if you're facing that way, just batter it up there, because they can't score for you. Simple as that. But no, I think that when the boy scored, then you could see the glee on his face, and now he's with the Rangers. and there that's him joined the Rangers now. He scored a cracking goal against our mortal enemies, and I think that was a wonderful feeling for him. And I'm sure if he can continue in any way, shape, or form at that level, he will be a star. He will be a star.
Yeah. So half time, the game starts, and there wasn't much happening in the game really. It wasn't the greatest starts to the second half for both teams. We looked to more lately, they weren't pressing us at all. And then there was a midfield ball broke and the ball bounced, and Cantwell again goes in between two of them, 50-50, the ball breaks. A lovely touch with Big Starfelt. And Sakala's through. And then he goes round the goalie, and come on, let's be honest, the whole world stopped, Linda.
Exactly.
It did, the whole stadium. There was an intake of breath. And he did absolutely brilliantly. He sold Joe Hart. Joe Hart was trying to get a bus back into the stadium. But see when he went round him, you thought, well, he's got loads of time. He had a few options, but you thought, is he going to get it back on his sort of strong side and put it in his right foot, Ox? But he didn't. He just swung his left peg at it and rolled it towards goal.
Did he not just walk in the net and put it in for? Why did he have to put us through that few seconds?
He had so much time, and maybe that's the problem with Sakala. I just thought, as you say, the world stood still, and I just thought he was going to either, as you say, walk it into the net or get on his strong side and put it in with his right foot. And he kind of half hit it with his left foot, but thankfully it went in. But you're right, the whole stadium, there was an intake of breath. It was brilliant.
Bridgeman?
Oh yes, when those two Celtic players, for some reason or other, collided into each other, they gave us a big chance here. And of course, I think Cantwell was key in that one to each other, forced them into mistakes. And then all of a sudden, Sakala's away with the ball. And you think to yourself, like, I'm one of the 50,000 or the many millions all over the world sitting watching that, wondering what's going to happen. And we're all holding our breath per se. And I'm in their mind, you're going, come on. But see, when the ball rolled over, they're like, oh my God, I was up in the ceiling again. So a long time I was up in the ceiling with it, but that was fantastic. Brilliant. Well done to Sakala. Well done.
Aye. I'm going to ask you something while we're talking about Fashion Sakala. He's took a lot of stick the last few weeks. I mean, the one he missed at Hampden in that semi-final was the worst of them all for me, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Because two of them, all the time, the two at Hampden, he never even hit the target for 4 yards. And then the one at Aberdeen, he had a chance to do exactly what he done there and Saturday. So if he would have scored the two chances at Hampden and that one at Aberdeen, we would have been looking at him completely different. And that's how the fine margins you talk about, Linda.
Yeah, definitely, Ox. Because he gets himself into these situations where, sometimes it can be a bit of fortune if a ball comes off the post and it comes back to you, and you're the one that's got the chance to score. The one up at Aberdeen, the first part of that, he brilliantly turns the defender, and as you say, running through, and he just shoots right at him. The difficulty, Ox, is that those were massive moments, particularly the two games at Hampden, where it gets you an equaliser, and then you've got a chance to go on and win the games. I think, with Sakala, he splits. I think he doesn't necessarily split the support. I think we just get a bit frustrated by him, his effort, and that you can't fault him. But there's always just a question whether he's got the qualities to take us on to that level that, we can go on and win things. But you wouldn't be averse to him remaining in the squad for next season, Ox, I don't think.
He's an enigma, Bridgeman, yeah?
An enigma, absolutely right. We've got a few of them. No, look, I put it down to confidence. I think that when he was failing to score in the last few games, And you know, when you go one game, you don't score because you make a blow, or you blow the chance or whatever, and that bites away at you. And it's the next one happens, and the next one, and it's as if you're never going to be able to score again, and you end up you're kind of falling over the ball, and all these daft things that happen to football players when the weak confidence goes. That game in Saturday, the goal right at the very start, you know, within a few minutes, goal, we're 1 up. Here we go. Now they get the confidence up. Now they can go and do it. They're feeling good about themselves as well. And my goodness, he's turned it on. He never left them alone at all. Every single one of them, he chased them all down, and that was brilliant. Gave him his confidence, and that fabulous running, putting the ball in the net. Brilliant. That's all it is. Confidence.
All right, we saw you. I think we better get these phone lines open, Linda.
Yeah, absolutely, Ox. Get the fans in.
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Man of the match, Linda?
Cantwell for me.
Bridge?
100%. Cantwell.
Yeah, all day long and twice on a Sunday. Arguably a 9 out of 10 performance, Linda.
Yeah, 9 out of 10. I wouldn't have been unhappy if you'd say 10 out of 10, but I suppose that's kind of I don't know if anybody ever gets a 10, but he was the best player on the park. As you said, the midfield, the way that we set up, obviously with Lundstrom, Raskin and Jack, we were able to push Cantwell up a wee bit, weren't we? I think you made the good point that he was, sort of nullifying Callum McGregor as well. And I know we've tried Tillman in that role before as well, and it's not quite worked out. But he also had a bit of freedom as well, Ox, didn't he, to go and try and do his stuff. But when we picked our moments to try and sort of pinch the ball off them, because they had obviously most of the possession. But Beale got his tactics spot on, and Cantwell absolutely, he owned that game.
Do you know, we're watching the game, Bridge, there was something came out of my head. Do you know Bobby's not phoned up since he's moved, Bobby? But remember he kept saying about Tillman, it's no his type of game. I think Bobby was proved right at the weekend, and Tillman's played in most of the games, all the games against him, and done okay, but I can see Bobby's point.
Yeah, Tillman's never anywhere near as mobile as Cantwell. Cantwell's a lightning. Over the first 5 yards, my goodness gracious, he can run. Oh. And Tillman just kind of do it at that pace. He can play. Of course, he's a wonderful player. He won the Young Player of the Year, so I think he's done very well, Tillman. But nowhere near the pace of that boy Cantwell. My goodness gracious, he was like a wee greyhound, wasn't he? He was running everywhere, picking everything, snarling at everybody. I love that, by the way. I like him to snarl.
It looks as if he's a leader on the pitch for us, Linda.
Yeah, definitely, and he obviously wasn't playing a lot of football before he came, Ox, and he kind of had lost his way a wee bit. But he's very much grown into the club, and he's only been with us a short period of time. I get that. But as I said earlier, you endear yourself to the fans, but you've also got to back it up on the pitch, and I think that's an important thing. He just wants to do well, and you can see the passion and the desire that he's got. He's been a breath of fresh air, Ox, even when we haven't got the results we would have liked over the last sort of couple of months. But certainly he's been a really positive signing so far. And young Raskin did well at the weekend too, because I don't mean that the jury was still out on him, because I think he's trying to find his fitness. But I thought he had a really good game too on Saturday.
I thought he was excellent, particularly in the second half. He grew into the game, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought he was good in the first half, but I thought he had a better second half, Bridge. Oh.
I couldn't get that off of me there. Sorry. I do apologise. Yeah, brilliant. I thought excellent first half, and a really, really smashing out of this world performance in second half. Superb.
Yeah, we've got to get a shout for the young goalkeeper and all that. 4 games, lost a goal. 4 games, no lost a goal. If you count his brother getting goal for us, that's 5 games. Mrs. McCrory's one.
Brilliant.
Mrs. McCrory, I love it. I think you're right. I think McCrory, when you see him playing there, actually he seemed quite mature. And then I thought to myself, what age is he? 25, 26. So I would expect something like it. But my goodness gracious, fantastic saves. Last man, wonderful stuff. Loved it. Oops.
All right, we've been joined by Cammy. Evening, Cammy.
Evening, Oxford. How you doing, pal?
Hi, Cammy.
Good to hear
Cammy.
from you. Good to hear from you.
Yeah, Linda.
What's on your mind, mate?
I was just thinking about Morelos and Kent. Is it the fact that they've not been playing, that the team has excelled himself over the weekend because of causing a bit of disruption between the team?
Maybe you take a couple of bad apples out, Linda.
Yeah, definitely, Cammy. It was really refreshing as well. Not, you don't want to be unkind, but it was actually quite nice that they weren't on the pitch. And we managed to play so well without them. With Morelos, I wasn't sure whether he was going to get even maybe just a wee sort of cameo role at the end, but I'm glad that he didn't, and he put the young boys on just to give them a wee taste. Ryan Kent, we're led to believe he's still injured, but I don't know whether we'll see him again. And I just think that the players that were on the park as well, we got maximum effort from them, Cammy, and that made a big difference.
Yeah, it made a big difference. Attitude's everything, isn't it?
90% attitude, 10% ability, as you well know, Bridge.
That's what it is.
When you come, Bridge.
Are you talking about midfielders again?
No, I'm talking about anybody on the football park. If you're not got the right attitude, doesn't matter how much ability you've got.
100%. You've got to have it. Got to be there. And you see it. You see that young boy, Ashton, as well. He's super. He's really, really in it. Marvellous tackles. Scared of nothing. And when you're scared of nothing, then you'll get there, for sure. And that's what we did.
Maybe I seen it was like a naughty schoolboy. There's a naughty schoolboy in school. It disrupts the whole class. That's what it's like with the football team as well, isn't it?
Well, me and Bridge were always perfect pupils.
I never bothered anybody. Ever.
His Bridge's school was approved by the government.
At least it was in a Catholic school.
Oh, what you're saying now. Right.
Oh dear, that's a shocking thing to say, isn't it? That's a shocking thing to say there.
So we played well. What did you make of Ridvan's performance, Cammy?
He done well. I think they're going to sell Barisic. I think they're definitely going to sell him, but it's on his last year, his contract. I think they'll sell him.
Young Ridvan, he wasn't outstanding, Linda, but what impressed me was the tackles he made.
Yeah, he gets stuck in, Ox, and I think he won a couple of headers as well, and that's one of the things that we've been a bit worried about him, his height and his build. Obviously, we've not seen a lot of him because of the injury that he got. But, there was a couple of times it's been picky, but his final ball into the box kind of let him down. There was two in particular in the first half. If he had just put it across the box on the ground, and I think he put it out for a throw-in, and there was another one he overhit. So, that's obviously part of his game that, he can work on. And I think you mentioned that, see, their 2 chances that they had, I think our full-backs do push quite high up the Ox, don't they? And that's obviously something we need to watch, because if we do give the ball away, they're caught out of position at times. But overall, I thought he did fine, and we want to see more of him, I think, Ox.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Has he got potential, Cammy?
I think he has got potential for Rangers. He's definitely class enough to play for Rangers. Just needs a wee bit more experience maybe in the Old Firm games. But I definitely think he's definitely got something there, aye. There's definitely something.
He looks comfortable on the ball, Bridge. Yeah, looks comfortable on the ball.
Super game. Well played, the young man. Well played indeed. Fearless. No scared to put a tackle in. And okay, sometimes you got himself a wee bit caught out, but other than that, I thought it was a fantastic game. As all the defenders did, I thought it was a really good game. But I'm mightily impressed with the boy. Mightily impressed. Do you really think that we will sell? We call him Borna. Yeah, we'll sell him.
Well, he's moving into last year's contract, Bridge. I think Borna, I'll check, I'll get his exact age. I think he's about 30, 31. Yeah, they might look to send somebody else and improve that side of the park. And Borna will go. He's just had a kid. Maybe he's wanting to move somewhere closer to home. Yeah, so
good shout. Yeah.
You never know how all these things that unravel. Linda?
Yeah, I think that's a good point you make about his family situation, Ox. The fact that they've just had a child, he might want to move, back to his home country, or as you say, nearer. Moving into his final year of his contract, you would still, he's an internationalist. I know when you're in the final year of your contract that any transfer fee is affected by that, but I think you would still get a decent sum of money for him. But we would then need to bring somebody else in. You're going to have the two options. So it will be interesting to see how that pans out. On the other hand, maybe Borna will sign another extension. Maybe he'll sign for another year. I don't know. Those conversations will be taking place. But the family situation one is definitely a good point you make, Ox.
Yeah, and I think at the moment, Cammy, if Borna was to leave this summer, he would go with everybody's best wishes,
I definitely would. It would be better grabbing the money now, but we've got a chance and not making the same mistake that you done with Morelos and Kent, no too. You can't make that same mistake twice.
If you mention grabbing money, Bridge's eyes light up. Bridge?
Aye, I like that part. You can't, the situation that we could find ourselves in is going to end up similar to the Morelos and the Kent situation, where you get a really good player that eventually won't want to play and just wants to wait to the end of the season to get away and pocket the cash, whatever cash you're going to get. And we need to make our mind up now and start to get the plan rolling and get some offers in for him and see what happens. And I'm quite sure Michael Beale will do that. He'll arrange that. By the way, I'm assuming that Michael Beale does think it should be going. I'm making that assumption. So yeah. I don't think... Sorry.
We're having a discussion, mate. You don't know, He's 31. He's 31 in November, Linda.
Yeah. There's been chat as well. Obviously, we hope that young Yilmaz will stay, and we've got him in a 5-year contract. And just hypothetically, if there was a deal to be done there, and say perhaps that they felt that he maybe wasn't going to feature, I don't think we've seen enough of him. I think he would, he's well respected, Yilmaz. He's rated, back in his own country, and he's one of the most promising talents. And you might think, well, why would we want to let him go? But I think it would probably, would maybe see him as the future Ox, and we would like to see a bit more of him, I think.
Yeah, there's roughly 10 years between them, Cammy, yeah? Borna's done all right for us, but sometimes you've just got to shake hands and move on.
Yeah, that's exactly. You go with your best wishes, didn't you? End of the day, but he's done his job for Rangers, so I think it's maybe time for somebody else to step in and see how they can go on.
Aye. Especially if we get a transfer fee, Linda, and we bring somebody else in, and we've improved the first team, if Yilmaz kicks on, and we've improved the squad, it's going to be a positive.
Yeah, and as you say, Ox, there's times where you have just got to say thanks for your service and move on. Fans' favourites will go, players that have actually done quite well for us. And Borna over the piece, there's been times where he's frustrated us and he's gone off the boil. But he's also put in some really great performances as well. And I think overall we would be happy with him as a signing. But as you say, it's maybe time to think about the future. But if we do get a fee for him, it might be just something that the club can't afford to turn down, because as Cammy said, we've got 2 players who are going to be leaving on freedom of contract, and if possible you want to avoid that in the future. It's not always something that you can avoid, Ox, but certainly players like that, we want to make sure that we get transfer fees in for them going forward.
I think that's a great point you made when you first come on, Cammy, that Morelos and Kent, who are the piece we've liked, we've enjoyed, they've gave us great memories, but we've not liked the way they've left the club, Not the fact that they've left us in a freedom of contact, the effort they've gave us in the last season, they've let us down, haven't they?
Aye, well, they have, because they're still professional players at the end of the day. It doesn't matter who you play for if you're not playing the way you should, but why do you expect the wages you're getting? There's plenty of people that kind of get a job, and they're sitting there pretty with all these thousands of pounds in the bank, doing basically nothing.
That's the danger of modern football, Bridge, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. I think that, like, for instance, at Barisic, we wouldn't know how much we would get for him. You just don't know when they run out of value, when the value runs out. And I was going to ask you a question about what's his name, Glenn Kamara. Sino's still got a year to go. His contract.
Even longer than that, Bridge. He just signed a
right?
new contract
Okay.
Start of this season, mate.
So we need to get money for him. We need to sell him. We're not playing him, so we need to let him go.
I agree.
Don't fall into that. Yeah.
Aye, if we get, well, let's just say we get a couple of million plus or more, Linda, it's a tidy bit of business Glenn Kamara's been.
Yeah, I think it's 2025 for his contract, Docs. I think you're right, he's got a couple of years. So, and he only cost us, as the song says, 50k. I don't think he's in Michael Beale's plans. Could be wrong, but I don't see it. When he first came into the club, Michael Beale was talking up Glenn Kamara. He says he wanted to see the Glenn Kamara that he knew, and he gave him a chance. He played him for the first 3 or 4 games, but we've not seen him since. I think we were talking about that, in previous shows, that quite quickly Michael Beale saw what we've been seeing from Glenn Kamara probably for the past sort of 14, 15 months, because he's not featured at all. Very, very surprised if Glenn Kamara's still here after the summer, but we'll get a good fee. He's, Finland international, he's rated, for his country, so you get a few million for him, so it'll be a great bit of business.
Yeah. I like Kamara when he played. He's a good footballer, and he just went off the boil, Cammy.
He did that. He was a good player for Rangers. It's one of the things that you start off well, and you came with a cheap price tag. So no matter what club he goes to, you're obviously going to try to make a profit out of that. You're not going to make a loss. So I think it's good moving forward for that one.
We need to sell him for 49,000.
Aye.
You never know.
Just brilliant.
You never know.
We're not going to make a loss on him.
He's a good footballer, Bridge,
Well, we know the first season he was with us, he was absolutely superb. You're thinking, my God, 50,000. Wow. And we could have left it to the summertime and got him for nothing, because he was ready to sign a pre-season for us. I was delighted when I saw him. But then, as I say, the last season and a half, he's really not played too much for us. And each consistent manager hasn't wanted him. It doesn't look like it anyway. And yeah, what a clever player.
Right, what about Taft's performance at the weekend? Usually all firm games he's getting either praised because of his goals or his effort, Linda, or he's getting slaughtered because of defensive. He was hardly mentioned at the weekend. Defended well, kept it simple, wasn't too involved going forward. Apart from, I didn't notice till yesterday, I'd watched the goal a few times, Cantwell's goal, and I didn't notice who was standing in the box in the middle of the goal. It was Taft.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And I think people thought it was Sakala, but it wasn't. It was definitely Tav. I noticed that too, because obviously, you know, Cantwell could have squared it. I'm glad he just took the shot himself, but Tabs obviously maybe got a tap in. I don't know how that all transpired, but anyway, he definitely was. He always wants to be a number 9 anyway, I think, Cox. But overall, he was very steady. We're not talking about any defensive errors for Tav. And as you say, you know, he left the creative stuff and the goal scoring to other people in the team, and that's a real positive in itself, Fox, that we're not over reliant on Tav, and that needs to be the case going forward. And if he chips in with a few goals, then all the better. But we can't be relying on him, definitely not.
Cammy?
A clean sheet for Rangers, an assist again, and they led the team to victory, which is enough for me.
You give him an assist for the corner?
Okay, definitely you take in.
Well done,
Adds to the record.
I take in, it's going.
He got an assist for the man last week. Oh, you with us, Ian?
Aye.
Aye, how you doing, mate?
Oh, no bad. I'm phoning you for my new digs.
All right, everything all right?
I'm in a home now.
Right, all right. How are you? You all right? You keep him all right?
I'm keeping all right now. They put me on new medication, so it seems to be working.
Well, if it's
so
working, send me a box and I'll get it to Bridge.
I think we want a big bag of money tied to it, though.
Go on.
You're talking to the right man. If you want money, I'll tell you.
Exactly. Well, can I just start off with saying we are the people, and what a display on Saturday. I mean, as I say, I'm in the home for the deliriously overjoyed. It was just amazing to watch. At first, when I seen the team in the front three up front, I wasn't too sure. I was thinking, oh, God, no. But down to a man, every one of them, I mean, they played their part. And that Todd Cantwell, I mean, he's just give him another year or two or whatever. He's going to be a superstar. He's going to be worth a fortune. You know what I mean? He's amazing. Everybody was amazing on Saturday. I mean, I could actually say didn't pull their weight or anything. And I was glad that Big Shooter got that goal, because, I mean, that's going to do him the world of good, because I think he's a great player and he deserved it. And when Sakala was round at the goalkeeper, I must have been the only one that thought he was going to score, even though I was there at the telly blowing on it. No, trying to get the ball in near the post. But well done to the whole lot of them.
I never had any doubt, seeing.
Aye, eyes shutting horns out of your eyes. No, I honestly thought when they rounded up, it was because when I hit the ball, you could see from the angle it was going inside the post. You know what I mean? But
no, but I would have done there, Linda. I would have stopped, flicked up, and back heeled it in.
Got yourself, Oxford.
Aye, got yourself. So, a few good signings this summer window, and I think we're ready to go. And they've got something to think about on the other side of the city now. They've realised when they strikers, they thought this was going. I mean, McGregor, a siege mentality. It was more like Sage mentality when they came to Ibrox. I mean, there was no mentality there. Sage, no siege. And I don't even know if he was playing, but I think he was in Cantwell's back pocket, I think. But absolutely amazing game. Amazing. It was a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. I hoped it was going to be something like that, and I got my wish. So, absolutely brilliant to everybody. The whole team, coaching staff, a lot.
There was only one sporting performance at the weekend that was better than Todd Cantwell's, and that was Kevin Sinfield.
Who?
Kevin Sinfield.
Who's that? A wee ball biting it through the ball with you? Joe Hart?
No, that was a boy who played rugby league, mate. What a
hero. Oh, that was beautiful, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
What a man.
That was nice. I seen that today.
Good show.
See, before I go, can I just say a hello to some people?
No.
Okay.
Carry on.
I'm away in a huff. I've got a pet up lip like a tractor tyre.
On you go.
Right, I'll try and remember them. To Darren, Callum, Thomas, Pacer, Stephen, Stewart, and obviously Sweet Caroline. Definitely her.
Obviously.
Oh, she's a lovely lassie to talk to and everything. She's great. I can't remember anybody else's name. I keep saying I'm going to write them down, but I forget to write them down. So, so if I've missed anybody out, I'm not going to say tough this time. I'm just going to say sorry if I've missed your name out. And thanks for letting us on tonight. Again.
Cheers, Ian. Linda?
Cheers, Ian. It was great to hear from you, and I'm sure that victory, just like yourself, it cheered us all up, Ian. And I think it was definitely one wee bit of pride back, wasn't it? And it was one for the fans, and we thoroughly enjoyed it, Ian. And it's great to hear from you.
Aye, it was like one of these ones we've been saying all week. We're due it for the fans, and my God, they gave us it, and well done to them. Well done to them, every one of them. And it was nice to talk to you, London, and the rest of you. And I'll go now and let you talk to some other people,
Look
right?
Look after yourself, Ian. Look after
I will do.
See you later, Ian.
Thanks a
Good night,
lot.
Ian.
See you after. Night.
Great to hear from you, Ian. Great to hear from you, mate. What a man, Bridge Manor.
Excellent man. Yeah. Can I just say something? I don't want to be too negative. I just wanted to say this. A number of times in Saturday's game, a number of times we were still very slow watching them take free kicks. They never take a free kick from where it happened. So they stop the ball as far away as possible. The referee's either got his back to them or, he's not quite right there on it. And the referee always let them take it. We're not in the same wavelength. We need to smarten that up as well, because they can cause you a problem just by running from a free kick, a nice pass, they can catch you. We need to stop this. We need to get wherever the ball is, just get somebody around the ball. It's simple as that. No matter what happens.
That's for Cantwell's. That's for Cantwell's cute, isn't it, Linda?
Yeah, he probably is the one that does it. He's got a lot of savvy. But I remember we've touched on that. It's a good point Bridge makes. Particularly the games when we've ended up going on and we haven't won. There's been times where we've just not been clever enough. The dark arts side of the game. And maybe that's obviously something that we do still have to work on. But I thought we were marginally better at it. That was probably, in terms of the game at the weekend. But we did try and we picked our moments to go and try and sort of pick their pockets at times, Ox, didn't we? And, we let them have the ball, and that's sometimes what they've done to us. So the manager himself, he didn't even display any emotion at the side of the pitch, and I understand that. And after the game, he did play it down, and he said it was just another 3 points. But I tend to agree with what you said earlier, Ox. It was a big result for Michael Beale. In the whole context of the league, etc., it didn't mean very much in terms of the points tally, etc., because the league was already gone. But I do think that was a big result for our manager.
Yeah. Cheers, Linda. We've been joined by Smurf. All right, Smurf?
Aye, no bad, mate. Recovered. My voice has got recovered at least for the game. But it was a good game. Just want to make a point there, or a couple of points. And the first one was that your boy Cantwell. A lot of players come. Players as good as him, better players than him have come to Ibrox over the years. It's taken them a while to settle in, or they just couldn't settle and they had to go. intensity, everything, the stature of the club, the rivalry itself. Some people just wilt in that arena, but he seems to be lapping it up, and the bigger the game, the more stature he seems to exude, and he feeds off the fans. And I just think we've got somebody that grows in that environment and thrives, and I just think that's going to bode well for the future. We can get a few more like him in, we'll be okay. And the other thing is, and this isn't to decry the boy, young Tillman get the young player of the year, etc. But do you not think the team looked more solid without him in it?
We mentioned that earlier on, Smurf, about Bobby. Well, Bobby used to come on and he mentioned that Celtic's not a game for Tillman to play, and maybe in hindsight, Bobby was right. I get what you're saying. He's a guy that he was starting to work hard for us to improve for the start of the season, but he's no got that defensive awareness or closing people. It doesn't come naturally to him. Wonder then, Cammy?
Yeah, I think you're probably right, Ox, but you wonder, if that sort of a side his game would come in time, because this is his kind of first season playing, in top team football, playing for a first team. Obviously he hadn't featured very much for his home club. So I don't know whether that's the sort of side of his game that, as I said, would be developed. But I agree with what you're saying in terms of how he's performed in the Old Firm games this season. He hasn't been a big player for us. But he is a lot younger than Cantwell, and as I said, they're less experienced. But going forward, I'm not sure whether you would risk paying that money for him. Whether or not he wants to come back is another matter as well. But I don't know. Maybe Bobby has got a point there in what he said before.
And you come, Cammy, what was your thoughts?
I was reading today that he's actually only 50-50 a chance of rejoining Rangers from his loan to a permanent move. I don't know, every time I've watched him against Celtic, he just doesn't seem up for it, or he's not quite sure where he should be, but he's not yet right at the sort of level yet for it. I just don't think he's ready for it. I don't know whether he should maybe bring more players in. How many players could you get for £5 million? You know what I mean? It's a lot of money.
Aye, you're buying potential, Bridgeman. He's definitely got that. I mean, he's got some magic feet, Tillman. He's gave us some great moments this season, eh?
Yeah, I'm on record as saying, for me, never £5 million, no matter what happens. £5 million, you're looking for the finished article. But I'm not stupid. If Rangers can knock that down to 2.5 or something, maybe even stretch it to 3, then you've got a really good deal in your hands. Because as a young player of the year in Scotland, so it can't be bad, can it? So he's obviously got something, but I don't think he's quite ready for the battles with the Rangers and Celtic stuff, So honestly, God, if you buy him for £2.5-3 million, it's a steal. For what we know what he's like, and we can get us ready made. We can walk right into our team, providing the manager wants him in the team. But he's got abilities, he's got good stuff. But £5 million puts me off.
Oh, Stuart, I'm going to jump out and let somebody else call in, pal, if that's all right.
Cheers, mate. Nice to speak to you.
Thanks very much for letting me on the show, pal.
Yeah, speak to you, mate. All right.
Night, Cammy.
Night, Linda.
Cheers, Cammy.
Right. All right, bye.
Right, okay, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll hear from Alec Tillman, hear what he's got to say. Get yourself from mute. Let's hear from Alec Tillman.
Does it feel to win an award like this?
I'm just extremely proud, extremely happy. I think it's not usual, or like in Germany, it's not really usual. So I'm just glad that I got voted for, and yeah, as I said, I'm extremely happy.
To come here on loan and get this recognition from the players that you've played against, what does that mean to you?
it's a huge honor. I think the other nominees deserved it as well. Yeah, as I said, I'm just extremely happy, but also have to keep going and do the same or do the best I can.
How would you sum up the way things have been? Because your loan spell, certainly at Rangers, has come to an early end due to injury. How frustrating was that?
Yeah, I hope for a better ending, but it's quite common in football to get injuries, so I'm just unlucky to be one of them. But yeah, I think I had a great time here. It might not be the end, so we will see what's going to happen in summer.
Yeah, I was going to say, how would you rate your chances of being a Rangers player next season?
It's, I don't know, 50-50. It's up to Rangers, up to Bayern, and up to me, so it's completely open.
Have you decided your part in that yet? Do you know where your head is? What's left to form that decision?
Not really. I'm going to speak to Michael Beale in the next coming days, and then see what he's saying, see what Bayern's saying, and then I will decide.
Very honest, Linda.
Yeah, he was very honest and, a very humble guy too, and I know that's easy to say, Ox, but not everybody mentions the other nominees, etc. Just a young guy coming to, a foreign country. He comes over very well, and quite interesting what he said at the end there. Because I think a lot of fans were thinking that the deal was dead in the water and there just wasn't really any, chance that he would be coming. I don't know whether it was because just the way it's ended with his injury, etc. But you never know. And Michael Beale will have quite a big say, I would think, Ox. And if the club want to spend that sort of money and he thinks it's worth it, that might be the deciding factor if Malik himself wants to come and it's okay for Bayern. Then obviously if our manager wants Tillman, then it's quite possible that we'll see him next season.
What are you thinking now, Smurf? Oops. He's just left his bridge. What's your thinking on it?
Excuse me. I think I don't really know. Based on what the boy was saying, he doesn't know. But in a week's time, and I'm assuming it's going to take a week for him to speak to all the parties, I wouldn't be surprised if the company has deal I was speaking about. I don't think Rangers are willing to pay £5 million for him. I really don't. So obviously, Rangers have got to let them know and what they're thinking on price wise, and see if they can come to a deal. I seriously don't think it'd be worth paying £5 million for him. I really don't. However, the manager's keen on him. I dare say, is it Bayern he's with?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they'll be keen to get as much money as they can for him. So it's a case of all parties going and talking and see what they can come up with to get a wee deal in there. But a wonderful player. We know how good a player he is. We know. But we've seen him sometimes. He's not actually even lasted 70 minutes, and I mean 90 minutes, So we need to get something, to me, for the pace of our game anyway. We need to get good fitness in front of him. But a wonderful player.
You back in, Smurf? You back with us, mate?
I'm back. Sorry about that, buddy.
That's all right.
I think he seems quite a measured, level-headed young lad. Actually, he's going to listen to Rangers. He's going to listen to Bayern, and then he's going to make a decision, which is just kind of growing up. What I'm thinking though is when I look at him at 20 and the other lads that you see sort of coming through, I don't know if Tillman's a starter every week for us, but the bag's ability, just frightening sometimes and frustrating at others. But he's miles in front of anybody else that we see coming through the academy, and so it makes you wonder you know, what's the realistic chances of some of the academy boys really, you know, making it at Rangers, you know. I suppose that's another debate, but no, it's. I'm glad. I think he thoroughly deserved these Young Player of the Year, and if we can get him in at the right price, like you did say, buying potential, then I would take him. But if there's more coming in like Raskin and Cantwell, then it's, you know, competition's going to be difficult, and that's a healthy place for Rangers to be. You know, so I'm all for it, but you know, no a guaranteed starter.
All right, we've reached that time of the evening. Get yourselves on mute, because we're going to have a tune.
Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. We support the Glasgow Rangers, doing it Ibrox is the place, and we will follow in the championship race. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. It's true, the magic boys in blue are the best team in the land. You've got to queue and govern to get a ticket for the stand. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. We've spent a lot of money on great players, yes, that's true. But the Rangers fans deserve the best from the boys in royal blue. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Now years ago the story, it was dismal, full of gloom. Now we're building an extension for the Ibrox trophy room. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. In Europe we'll be travelling by land and sea and plain. The teddy bears have got the bears and we're on the march again. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. The Glasgow Rangers football team's the greatest team of all. Yes, it's true.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Yes, it's true, the boys in blue are just magic on the ball. Oops.
He's better than that than he is at the Boomtown Rats, London, isn't he?
Just
I don't
marginally.
like Mondays. I don't like Mondays.
I'm no one for carrying stories, as you well know.
Who are you talking about?
However,
Go on then.
no
Yes.
name, no pack drill. Let's just say, I wouldn't mention any names, but he's on often with his mate on a Wednesday.
Right.
Yeah. So this certain individual is out celebrating a victory on Saturday. Decides to have a few refreshments in the jacuzzi bridge.
Oh no! Oh no! Did he get up again?
No. But makes the classic of getting in the jacuzzi, firstly, with all your clothes on.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
So as the party ended as dawn broke, they said, what should we call him? We should call him Sig Beavy. Yeah. Sig Beavy decided to make his way up the road, puts his shoes on that were full of water. So Sig Beavy had to make his way up the road, squash.
Me. Brilliant.
Superb.
Okay, picture the scene. I have that for a very, very reliable source. He's going to kill me. I want to know how I knew that.
Absolutely brilliant. What time did he get home at?
I would say it was after dawn.
Oh my God. Has he recovered yet? She absolutely murdered him. I take it she murdered him anyway.
There's only one winner in that fight, mate.
Exactly. Yes.
Me and him. Well, he's recovered. He's got a chill. He's got chills written off for the cold feet one.
I have to laugh because I dare say you could say we've all been in, not necessarily that particular one, but situations like it. Yes,
Well, were you known for going to parties with jacuzzi?
No, nothing like that. No, I just mean it. Stupid things. That's all I mean in general.
Anyway.
That was a good story, by the way. Good story.
No, a story. It's true. Michael Beale Smurf.
Yes.
We've criticised him, we've critiqued him, we've picked on things he's done, we've no liked this, we've no liked that. On Saturday, I think he got nearly everything right, or is that just the result? It makes you think that.
Well, I think no, it's not just the result. I mean, it went according to plan. A lot of other things came to fruition. Robbie McCrory had a great game and goal, you know, and all right, he didn't have a lot today, but when he was called upon, just like any keeper, all he can do is make a save, and he done that, and he made a cracking save, turning that shot onto her because he got a touch of that.
That was a brilliant save, mate.
And then the one-handed one, he go for the bar as well, and that's all you can do. But for me, how we commanded his folks, coming off his line, you know, reading the game, wasn't just going to sleep. So no, I thought he for me, he covered himself in glory, and the young boy, the young fullback that stood in for Borna, I think he gives you something different. I think he's a clever footballer, and with fitness and games, I think he gives you, you know, an alternative. Maybe there'll be a game where Borna, who maybe I'd take money for given his contract situation, but you know, he gives you that whip ball in, dangerous ball. This boy gives you something different. You know, he goes in on an underlap, driving into the box, etc. And he's screaming, the ball's screaming to be cut back. There's nobody there. I was actually thinking that wee bam pot that plays for them up front. It's he's the type of striker he would create chances for. And no, all in all, I think the fringe guys, if you want to call them that, or the guys that were coming back for injury, you know, did themselves no harm at all. And you know, we'll put a glove on them. We've set a marker down for next season. Michael Beale, back to your original point, he's you know he's got it right. But I was listening in last week, Ox. Somebody came in and was criticising you for being negative or whatever. I don't think you're negative. I think you've always been constructive in your criticism of Beale. He is a rookie manager. I came on here weeks ago and said that. He is a rookie manager. And one swallow doesn't make a summer. But still, he's got the result. He's put a marker down. He's now got to go and get more players at the level that he's been signing. And we know, so the evidence is there. He knows a player. It can only bode well for next season. Next season will determine his future. And
I get that. I described it on Saturday that he was in the position of a shaking bottle of champagne with the pressure mounting. He took the cork off at the weekend, and the pressure's gone, and that'll give him time to new build. And the pressure will mount again, because the pressure should be at fever pitch for any Rangers manager at the start of the season. Doesn't matter what you've done.
Yeah, and I think Michael Beale would have known that. I don't think he's under any illusions at what the job involves, and you're judged in your success, and you're replaced fairly quickly if you don't bring success. And you're right that although, as we said earlier, that it didn't mean anything in the context of the league for him. He'd gone, what was that, four games, and he still hadn't got a victory. He came close, but obviously we didn't go over the line. I think we would have taken any win at the weekend, Ox, but the fact that we played very well was also an added bonus. But a criticism of Michael Beale's been justified. I think, we've talked about his use of substitutions at times has been a bit baffling. And he's the faith that he showed in a couple of players, particularly Kent and Morelos. We were a wee bit unhappy with that, albeit sometimes it was a lack of availability. Other players, they didn't have a lot of choice. But I think that it takes the pressure off him just now. I think he used the phrase oxygen, didn't it? It gives everybody a bit of breathing space.
That's fair.
Yeah, but you're right. As soon as next season starts, and it starts early doors with the Champions League qualifiers, the pressure's back on.
Aye, and that's the way it should be. Rich?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the way it is. That's the way it should be. And I think that our manager has taken some criticism in the past, particularly about silly stuff like, is the selection correct? And is your substitutions correct? And the timing of the substitutions, and so on and so forth. But they all pale into insignificance, should I say, after that game. That was a tremendous performance by the manager. Brilliant team selection, in my opinion. I said it. I didn't think he should have played Suter, but there he played him, and he's done it. So it was a good, to me.
Who else would you have played, Rich?
I don't know. I don't really know, but I don't think I would have played Suter. I don't know what I would have done, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think we'd said that last week. There wasn't anybody else there, so Suter would have got a game. But if it had been me, I'd have moved heaven and earth not to play Suter. But yeah, that was totally wrong, completely wrong, and he's caught me out big style.
Can I come in there?
Of course, pal.
Just what you were saying. I mean, he's got himself a bit of breathing space, a bit of pressure released. We go again next season, and it doesn't matter what he does. That pressure will never go away. I would say that Gio's performance, or his team's performance this season, resulted him in getting his jotters, and a lot of that was aided and abetted with injuries, etc. Right? That would still have happened even if he'd have won in Seville. See if he'd have won that night and the penalty kick. See if he'd have won. He'd have still got his jotters. The pressure's relentless and it never stops.
No, I don't think so, mate. I'd have thought he'd have got, even though the results were bad, I'd have got that. and we'd all been moaning. I think things would have been different if the penalties would have been different that night. I get what you're saying. The results would have still been the same, and we'd all been angry. And he would have had more credit in the bank, bizarre as it seems, Smurf.
How much more time would you say? I'm not contradicting you, but how much more time?
No, I'm only giving you my opinion.
Oh, aye. But how much more time would you
to be fair, I wouldn't have been able to judge it because I don't know if I'd have been back for Seville yet.
But do you see what I mean? No, it's the song remains the same. No, if he'd have been given more time and nothing improved, he'd eventually have got his daughters.
Aye, of course, but I don't think it'd have turned as quickly, bizarre as it seems. Might be wrong, in my opinion. I get your point. He'd have still been under a microscope with that great performances and the results, Linda.
Yeah, I think so. And I've heard people in my family saying that if we'd won the Europa League, we wouldn't have bothered if we hadn't won another domestic trophy. For however long. But I think, Smurf's right. Eventually, you would have had to have drawn the line under Gio's tenure. He might have got maybe the season, but as I say, hindsight, who knows? But he probably would have got a bit longer, and it might have been a wee bit more acceptable to us Ox, but eventually we would have had to have, said goodbye to Gio, but he might have got a slightly bit longer.
It's hard to believe. I think it's a year and Wednesday. That's the day before the game. It'll be a year and Wednesday to the day that I had the sight of Jaffa with his green Speedos on and his vest. I've still not recovered. And I'll be honest with you, the thing that done me, I handled that, but it was the bum bag he had for his walk.
Oh my God!
I couldn't believe it.
Oh my!
I could not believe it. Couldn't believe it. He done me. I couldn't move. Sorry, Jeff. Said I would never tell anybody, but I have.
The world.
Right, I get your point, Smurf. I mean, wherever we are, and Michael Beale is going to build his own team quite quickly. And maybe mistakes were made, personality clashes, people there too long. They weren't maybe Gio's fault and things, injuries, Linda. Injuries,
Oh, I felt sorry for him,
I just don't want to upset you. I know I've talked about Jaffa, but your name's no Linda, Smurf.
No tonight, anyway.
On you go, Smurf, and then we'll bring Linda in.
By the way, that was a brilliant response there, Barry. Brilliant. No tonight, love it.
Super.
I can't even. I don't even know what I'm going to say now. No, I didn't know what I was going to ask you. I didn't know what I was going to ask you, actually. There's all this stuff where you might be a man in the know, maybe you're not. All this stuff about the club's up for sale and all that. Do you think there's any mileage in that or significant investment coming in?
I think today some of that stuff, mate, you would have to have an EGM. There is some flexibility with past the AGM, but if you have to go so far, you'd have to have an EGM. Right. There's not been any inclination that there's going to be one of them.
Aye. So, I mean, the Mr. Bennett is taking over as chairman, and any time I've listened to him on, watching him on TV or social media, he comes across so well, obviously an intelligent, articulate guy, educated man.
Well, he's been
in there.
He's been in Northwest of the city.
Aye. But he's been in there. He's been ruthless. I don't mean he's lost roof. I mean, they've all I'm sure some of them have wanted to go or had different opportunities, but I would imagine a number of them had their jotters as well, He's, so that it seems to be that he's building these foundations within his executive, and not just the team. He seems to be taking a holistic approach, and it's I think we'll be the stronger for it. No, it's looking well. I'm optimistic for next year. But anyway, I'm going to love and leave you guys. I'm going to go and put my way into bed, and I'll catch you some other time. Good night.
Good night, Linda.
Night, Smurf.
Cheers, Smurf. Don't take that name with you,
Good night.
Smurf. Take your own name.
See you later, Smurf. Oh dear. All right. Aye, good point, Smurf makes Linda.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Rangers' finances are always in the news. They seem to be like the talking point for everybody in Scotland. Other people, fans of other clubs, talk about them more than us, I think, Ox. But if there's going to be some investment, we welcome that. I think you're right about the AGM. There was a motion passed, wasn't there, that gave them a certain amount of autonomy to make certain decisions. But we'll just have to wait and see. Michael Beale's talked about his transfer budget for the summer. Obviously, there might be a bit of wheeling and dealing done around that, but he's going to have a significant sum of money to spend, maybe more than any manager's had in the past few years. So that'll be music to his ears. And we've just got to put our trust in him, haven't we, Ox? He spotted, he signed Rascan and Cantwell, and if we get players of a similar quality, then I think we should be okay.
I've got a question for Bridgman. Bridgman, and this is in all sincerity. How come the two boys have come in the door? I think they're, one's 20, 21 and one's 24, 25. No connection to the club, and they get it, and then we've had guys there that have been there for a long time.
This is the Vodafone voicemail service for
great success with the club, and they don't seem to get it. Am I picking that vibe up wrong, or are you picking up something similar?
Yeah, and that's what it looks like. The two young lads, Cantwell and Rashkan, they've came in and they're desperate. They're desperate to go on and play. They're desperate to do this. They've had lots of time in their hands to talk to people and get themselves built up. Because Rangers have got a good name in Belgium, so Rashkan, I'm sure, must have heard something from someone in Belgium. And of course, the Cantwell from Norwich. So I just see the guys that come in, they want they start a new career in a huge club. And then walked in the door and they've probably seen the size of the club, and they just look mind-blowing. So they're in, and they believe in everything that's going. That's what I think. And the other ones who don't find it difficult to believe, have to understand why they don't. Why do other players not see the same things? I don't know.
All right, we'll be joined by Kirky. All right, Kirky?
Not too bad yourself.
Aye, good to hear from you, mate. What's on your mind?
Tell you about Michael Beale and that. I think folks been quite hard with him this year. I mean, the guy's working with the same players get used to. He can't call his hand that early in the season because he had to keep the players playing for him. Knew he was going to with Morelos and told him about Solihull because he doesn't need Morelos again. I think the boys had a hard time with injuries. He's probably wanted to play a lot of players that he couldn't play because of injury. And he's just really working with the same players who got geo-sacked, other than Raskin and Cantwell right enough. Okay. So, I mean, I think folks been quite hard on Beale.
I understand, mate. I think there's two sides to that coin, and I'll let Linda come in after myself. I think the criticism is maybe with the fact that he's played, like he broke Kent back in the semi-final, who had done nothing to justify getting a start, come back, the injury.
Yes, you're correct there, yeah.
Aye, we gave him the benefit of the doubt. Let's say he wasn't 100% fit, we took a gamble and it didn't work. And some of that's how the criticism or critique of Michael Beale's got. And we recognise that he's not got his own squad in and they'll be judged. But if you have a bad run of results at your club, particularly against them, you're always going to be under a bit of pressure, mate.
Yes, that's right. But do you not think since the 2-2 draw, I think he's got his midfield right. He's just had another player run about because I think he's got the grip of the Celtic midfield now. They're quite non-existent against Cantwell. Even when you bring like Jack and Lundstrom in like Saturday there, you never heard it. That hot tatty they've got in Middlefield never mentioned, like, so.
Aye. In the last three league games, since Michael Beale came in, we've scored 7 goals against them and conceded 5. So actually, if you want to take just the league games like that, we're actually winning 7-5 since Beale came in. But you've got to win the big games, Kirky. Linda?
Yeah, yes, that's true.
Yeah, you're probably right, Ox. And, I can understand what Kirky's saying. Michael Beale came in and he steadied the ship to a certain degree, Ox, because we weren't beating the other teams in the league under Gio. And he sorted that out. And apart from the Aberdeen result a couple of weeks ago, we've beat everybody else, went away to really tricky away grounds and managed to get the 3 points. But in the big games, the Old Firm games, the 2-2 draw, I still think back to that and what a difference that might have made if we just won that game. It exerts a bit of pressure. It was unfortunate we didn't win that. And then obviously the big games against them in the cups. But I think what he did was he gave us a bit of confidence that when we went into the games, we weren't going to get turned over the way that we did maybe when Gio was the manager laterally against them. I think he sort of, steadied the ship a wee bit in that regard. And as you say, Ox, in terms of the number of goals that we've scored and what we've conceded, and we shot ourselves in the foot on numerous occasions in those games. And as I said earlier, it doesn't detract from the fact that there is a major kind of rebuild needed. But the gap between the Old Firm in terms of looking at those games in isolation, it wasn't as big. So, no, he didn't expect us to make those terrible errors, and we could have been sitting in a much better position in terms of maybe even getting a trophy.
Yes, I think the way he's got his team in Bowen now, the young boys going through, the likes of goalkeeper. And I think if McCrory had been in, John, what do you call him, Shooter, that pass back, McCrory would have got to that, no bother.
On Saturday's performance, with the pacing coming off his line, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's down to give the whole team confidence if you can ease the man in that box, because McGregor's not done it, but McGregor's been away a couple of years ago, I thought, but you just got to go with what you've got, and the injury this year has been horrendous. Look at Celtic for Saturday, what, 3 players out on Saturday, and they fell apart. We've got how many was it? 29 out of 31 players been injured right through this season.
We've had some run. Have you known anything like it, Kirky? You ever known anything like it?
I think maybe of the first year Sooners come in, but it was all, I don't think the players were fit enough. It always seems to be thigh strains and muscle pulls and all that. There wasn't really serious injuries like Hollander had a lot, but they're all just silly wee niggles. I think it was Sooners' first season, and he really stepped up the training, and I think that's where he came from. But this year, I think it's just a medical crew, to be quite honest. I just don't think they're good enough.
You might be right. I don't think you're alone in thinking that. Bridgeman? Linda?
No, I think Kirky makes a good point about the medical team, and I think we've said that, on numerous occasions. A lot of injuries can be due to misfortune, but certainly not the number that we've had, Ox. And as you've said before, we'll be critiquing the whole club, and it looks as if that is what they've been doing in terms of some of the positional changes. But we can't get through another season like that. It's the amount of time that players have been out for, Ox. That's been a real concern.
You back with us, Bridge? No. I get it, Kirky. It's horrendous. People are getting hamstrings. I think in 8 weeks max. And they're out
8 months max, right?
Aye,
8 months.
I think we've been joined by Andy Felix. Evening, Andrew.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, Linda.
Evening, Andy.
Hello, Andy. Boy.
No, I'm all right, Bridgeman. I'm in a good mood, by the way. See some great points in it. Look, what I looked at, firstly, I'd like to say thank you for every one of the Rangers players that stood up there and proved what we said all along. man and bone, just get into them, see what happens, close them down. They're not that clever. It's only one game. It sets us up for, taking a bit of the gloom off that's been. It's all about next season. On the Bale thing, it's not a case of saying that he's keek or whatever. You're only critiquing at the time of what he's doing. If he comes next season and knows we're on the 10 games, beat them, you're going to speak, well, he's doing well. You're only talking about what's happening now. You can't predict what's going to happen against Hibs or next season or anything because it's not here yet. We're just talking to what is it now. That's all it is. And what we were seeing was kind of frightening at times, but he worked it out there on Saturday, 100% out for me for that one. Look, we want him to succeed. That's the whole thing. What I watched there on Saturday is I watched the guys that I think he's going to keep, and every one of them seem to want to get in and about them. The other ones that we're going to keep, we knew they are. They're liable to do what they've always done. So it's interesting to see who he brings in, and are they going to push the ones that's been there a long time, and then if they do drop in the laurels or whatever they're going to do, bring these new players in to replace them. That's all we can do. But the ones that we think are going to stay, every one of them got way above pass marks. On the Sashin one, yeah, I was watching that with one eye when he went round them. but no, listen, we've done all right. I'm proud of them on that one. I'm not kidding myself. It's one game, but when you look at, we get hammered for nothing, and I kind of looked and I looked at it. Well, he's not getting hammered to them, although we're not winning them games. It's been the stupid mistakes. We cut them out. We're looking at a different. There is going to be 5 or 6. They players that he's going to keep. They've got it, and the two guys for me, Todd and Raskin, to come in and get what we're about and get what the fans feel. That's very refreshing. Some of them that are there, Ox, they might, get us. But the problem is they're not good enough to wear that shirt, and that's why we're in the position we're in now.
Are you okay?
I'm fantastic, aye. Well, listen, see when you do them, I'm top of hoop, I'm no bothered.
I just thought he sounded like a wise man. I'm worried about him, wonder.
Oh, don't worry about that. I'll put that right next week.
Is your brother Shuggy in disguise?
I don't know. No.
He's a tactical genius, your Shug. Wonder when you come.
No, Andy, you're right in what you say about some of the players that we saw at the weekend that probably are going to be here next year. You never know. Somebody like Rabbi Matondo, we've not seen a lot of him. He's been injured, and when he did play, just his decision making sometimes just totally let him down. Thought he tried hard, put a lot of effort in. He probably could have done better a couple of times. He broke up the park. But that's somebody that we've hardly seen any of. Your boy Ryan Jack came in, Andy. If Ryan Jack could just keep himself fit. I know he gave the ball away a couple of times, but he still makes a big difference, Andy, doesn't he, Ryan Jack?
He does. He makes Lumsden play really, doesn't he? He seems to be more assured when Jack's about there. But he made 2 mistakes. I still don't think we should be signing him, because I don't think we'll get the games out of him. The Montando one and Sashin, yeah, they got pace and they kept them active, but somebody needs to tell them that they've got the ball, they've got to take the ball away and do something with the ball. That's the problem with them too. They'll run at you, but their ball control is absolutely honking. So on the Welsh guy, I'm not bothered whether he don't play again, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? I think we can get better, and I think he will be looking at a winger possibly too, in my opinion.
The Welsh guy.
Well, what's it, Montando, isn't it? Is he Welsh, isn't he? Or he flew over Wales, something like that,
Montando? Is that not a state?
No, I don't know. I don't know what his name. I just know he's a Welsh guy, right? And he's not very good then, put it that way.
Andy, you're a cracker. Montando.
See what we're going to put up with, Kirky.
Oh, it's
shocking. Yeah, I know. But I think I will say with Bill, I will say with Bill, I think he'll be a far, far stronger manager than I think he is. I think what he says will go, especially the way he's dealt with Morelos there. Okay, it's maybe not fair Morelos, because he did give us good years. for the last year has been a waste of jersey. So has Kent. If he played Celtic on Saturday there with 11 jerseys, no 9. You know what I mean?
Aye. Listen, I think Southside's been saying that since about January, maybe even before. But if Michael Beale hung his hat on these people, he would end up getting himself under pressure, Linda.
Do you not think he really had to, though? Sorry.
No,
At
you're
times,
right.
at times I agree, Kirky. Carry on, Linda.
No, Kirky, you're right. He did. He had to sort of top them up. And as we said about Glenn Kamara earlier on, you know, I think Kent fell into that category as well. Michael Beale was wanting Kent to produce better moments. You know, he always liked Ryan Kent, but I just think since Beale's come in, he's been seeing what we've seen in the last sort of 12 to 14 months. And from what we're led to believe, I mean, I don't know whether Ryan Kent would have wanted to stay anyway, but simply Morelos and Kent have not been offered new contracts. That's the impression that you get. And how could Michael Beale offer them contracts from their performances, you know, in terms of how, you know, badly that they've played and just that lack of effort at times? But I think you're right, Kirky. He had to back them because he was working with them and he didn't have any choice, really.
And I think the quality of players he's got to bring in is going to be all the difference. I think Beale knows a player, and I think he'll get him his deal and his style. Know your director of football, or was supposed to be called. Yeah, and I think it'd be Beale's bear, and that's it this time. So.
All right, talking about real men, we've been joined by Bobja. Evening, Bobja.
Hi, good evening, everyone. How are you all doing?
Evening, Bob.
I just went away up the pub on Saturday night and sunk about 14 pints on John Smith's. No, I'm only kidding you, but I felt like it. It was great.
It was only 13 pints.
It was only 15, Brick. 15 in the Witherspoons. There you go.
Nice one, pal.
No, I didn't, Bob. I certainly felt like.
I'll get you Rangers Radio credit card off a bridge. Nene's, I've seen it yet.
I'll bet you. I've heard the whole here about who buys runes and who doesn't, but I didn't believe they have it.
Don't you listen to that man that's talking to me? I'll tell you
no good. I know that, Bridge. I know you. I know when you meet me, you'll be buying me a drink, Bridge, because you'll meet me because I live 2 miles from Fife. You'll meet me.
Reputation goes before you.
Fantastic performance on Saturday. And we've got a real player in Todd Cantwell and Raskin as well. And let's improve on that. Let's get the squad stronger so we can do that to them when it means something next year. I couldn't get that out there. When it means it next year, let's win the meaningful games, not the dead rubber ones. But a lot of pressure on Rangers on Saturday, but we'll beat again. The Heaves would have went right down. But that we didn't. We won really, really well. And let's hope, as I say, we can keep it up when it comes to the reality of next year. Been the season from hell, and I can't wait to get it our way. And everything you're saying about Morelos and Kent, you're absolutely right. I said it earlier on in the season. If you didn't want to be here, on you go. They shouldn't have been playing for weeks, they'd say.
They're going to look back and
they're going to regret it.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Kirky, in you come, mate.
It's been great. I watch your show every single day, every single night, and I'm very grateful you had me on tonight. I've got my point out. Maybe not the best one, but hey ho. But I'll let you go there now. Bridgeman, Linda, all the rest. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and we are the people.
Yeah, listen, you come and join us. We really enjoyed having you on. It was a great call, Linda, wasn't it?
Brilliant, Kirky. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. We enjoyed having you on.
Cheers, guys. Thanks very much.
Rangers a number of times. Yeah.
Sorry?
Have you been to see the Rangers a number of times then?
Well, the last 2 years, no, because I'm blind and I can only see 2 feet. Okay. So I followed Rangers out of the country home and away since 1966. Like, so.
Great year, that. Great year. 66.
I thoroughly enjoyed the show, boys. Keep up the good work.
Cheers, mate.
And we are the people.
Night, Kirky.
Cheers, Kirky.
Night, all. Night.
Oh. I don't know if the Dawn was for me or you, Linda.
Oh, me. Oh,
For
me.
you, Ox.
You can have Ox.
Or Andy, of course.
Walk away. A shocky doll for you, Ox, I think, eh?
Fantastic ball, Ox.
You might be right there, Andy. You might be right.
Ah, well, it makes a change to have nice characters, and I'm just a punch bag in the corner.
He'll be putting a pin in your doll.
Ah, hey, listen. I'll tell you, he's trying to get their chins down. He's going to Lanzarote at the same time as me. Oh, dearie me. I told him, Bridge, Bridge, I've told him he's got to get in the nail all these snaps with all them chins on my pictures. I'm telling you, he needs to get later.
Brilliant.
Right.
I just love it.
I think the Michael Beale thing, I think we all wanted him to do well, and we all want him to do well. There's no ifs, buts, and maybe, but we couldn't come on a few weeks ago and say this was right, that was right, because it was always to majorities that some of the calls were slightly wrong.
Yeah, and I think the games out with the Old Firm, and even probably in the Old Firm, as I said earlier, some of his substitutions didn't really make sense to a lot of his Ox, and then obviously he's hung his hat on certain players, and it did come back to bite him a wee bit. But as I said earlier, Ox, he did steady the ship. We started to beat the other teams in the league, and I know that it's going to come down to the Old Firm games probably going forward. But we had some terrible results. We couldn't go to places away from home and pick up 3 points under Gio, so he's kind of rectified that. And in the Old Firm games, the League Cup final, he got his team selection wrong and probably his tactics as well. But in the other games, we think he's matched up fairly decently. And apart from, the fact that there's some blatant errors being made, and if we'd taken our chances, it might have been different. But you've got to give him a lot of credit for Saturday. But as we've said, we have to do that going forward when the games really matter.
Bob, Jim?
I agree with what Linda says. We've got to improve going forward, as I said earlier on. When it all comes down to nitty-gritty of reality next year, try to qualify for a Champions League again, try to get it going in the league, try to defeat them home or away as best we can. He's got to improve. Everything must improve for this season. It can't get any worse, could it? Surely no. So it's something to look forward to based on that result on Saturday. It shows that they can be beaten. But for all the excuse machine came out, they didn't think that could happen to them, but that's their prerogative. And we showed that we can take the game in them and beat. We've been unlucky against them, Been very, very unlucky against them. I mean, the two sitters with Sakala hitting the inside of the post twice. Well, they got a slice of bad luck on Saturday when the boy O hit the post, and it came back to haunt them. So, as you say, all things forward now. Get the season over and done with, and good luck to Beale. And I hope against hope. There's that word again. He can get his signings right in the summer. He must get his signings right in the summer and get the ship steadied. He inherited the shambles off of Gio, let's be honest, and I think to some extent he's still trying to sort it out. So let's hope when the start next season comes, he's got the new guys in, and we're a lot stronger and a lot better and a lot more organisable being this year.
Andy?
Yeah, well, that's his goal, isn't it? He keeps telling us that, and I'm pretty sure if we can get the players he wants and get what we perceive to be a couple of the Lawrence and them that are injured, if they're going to stay, get them in the team. The worry is with Lawrence for me is that's a hell of a long time to be out of the game. So then you're going to get him up, you're going to have to get him up with match fitness, and once you get a lymph injury like that, you can break down again. But we can get him, because I thought he was beginning to look good there, wasn't he, at the start there. That was a big loss to us. I think would have been all right. He stands now, he's come in. He's 1 point worse off. He was 9 when he took over. It's down to 10. So really, to get a tune out of some of them players with what they did to Gio, you kind of think, well, he's done no bad. You know what I mean? He will get it right, and he has to. He's getting the option. He tell you that last week. So exactly. I'm convinced that we're going to. I think I've got a funny feeling next season. I don't know where I'm getting it from now, and it's certainly not after one game. But I've just got a funny feeling that if he brings them in right, the old club's just going to say we've had enough of this, and we're going to, you know, if we're going to lose this, we're going to go down fighting, and we go with that spirit. You know, hopefully we can win the league back and get into Europe, which is essential. And as I said to you before, I know it sounds daft, but the Europe don't bother me. Just being in it and getting the money. That's all about getting the leagues. But if we get to Europe every year, make some money, start winning trophies back in Scotland, the rest could follow. You don't know. The more money comes in, the more you generate, the better player it comes. Let's just hope he gets it right. And I hope he does. Nobody wants to see him fail. It doesn't matter who manages Rangers. When they're in there, none of us want him to fail, because if he's failing, we're all unhappy. So, come on, let's get strong here and get forward. And a good way, we beat them. It'd be nice to go up and beat them Minifield, so you could check out at the end of the season that we've done the two teams that we really hate. That's the way I'm looking at it. There's no cups. So that's how I'm looking at it, you know. But we'll be all right. We'll be all right.
And you come.
It's just to say, as far as I'm concerned, wonderful result of the weekend, but the line's drawn. And that's the level we're playing at, and that's the level we should be playing at. And we shouldn't, Rangers fan shouldn't fear next week's performance, blah, blah, blah. We are playing at that level, and that's what we've got to do. It's got to be maintained. Simple as that. We've got to go forward, no falling back. If we fall back, we'll tie ourselves up. We've got to stay at this level. And that was a fantastic performance. We've got all the players that played there, and we've got the same manager, same medical team, everything. Go out and do it. We've just got to do it. Keep it up there. Keep it up.
It's going to be an interesting few weeks, Linda. It's going to be in top of the news before we know it, you know.
Yeah, in the next 3 games, you know, before the end of the season, it is important, as we said, to keep that standard up. You know, take the performance from the weekend into the next game. You know, we can finish with 3 wins. He'll have 5 wins after the split. You know, and all right, there's nothing to play for, but there is, because it's playing for Rangers. Some of these players will still possibly. I know he says he's had conversations, but some of them might still be, you know, playing for their futures, Ox, because if they turn up and somebody comes in maybe perhaps with an offer, or there's maybe some early chat about maybe letting some of them go, even the ones that are under contract. But if they go out and they show us something, then there's a possibility that you know that they could still be here next year. I'm not talking obviously about Kent Morelos here. I'm talking about the folk that are under contract. But we want to finish with 3 wins, and it gives you a bit of momentum, because they've only got a few weeks off. They're back at the end of June, and then the qualifiers will be upon us, as you said, before we know it. So it's a big couple of weeks, and then it's obviously going to be a big summer for Michael Beale himself. But you know, the impression you get from him, Ox, is that he's very much on top of this whole transfer situation, and he knows who he wants.
Yeah. He's a guy that seems to, he's driven. That's what it comes across as, a very driven individual. But only time will tell. It's going to be exciting, Andy, isn't it?
I think so. Like you said, the close seasons are short now. The seasons are longer, aren't they? You know what? As soon as the season finishes, no matter what it is, you go 1, 2, 3, 4 days, then you're mumping your gums. Where's the Rangers? What you're looking for? It's the way it is. But I think I'm going to be positive here now. You've got to be. It's gone. We can't change now. But what we can do is we can change the future, and that's where we've got to be. We've all got to be on that page. Mindset, fans, doing it to the players and everybody that's running the club. I also think all them guys going off the board, they ain't got a plan B. They've got a plan A, and they're going to put that into place. I think it's more of the line of an investment coming in. That's not anything I've seen there. I think someone's going to chip some money in there, and they're just going to bring in a fresher board. Hopefully, a lot of guys that understand what Rangers are all about. That don't guarantee that we're going to go out and win it, but it helps if you get people that care like the same as we do. So that, for me, is how I'm looking at it. It's gone now. We're coming. Good result. the way they shut him down and all that for me, that was fine. You get, see, following the range, I don't know if you all agree. See the way they started, got a quick goal, the way they got about them. You just kind of know it's going to be your day. And that's how it panned out for her, especially when he hit the post. And Big Suitor, Bridgeman, I've been telling you right from the start, that's the man if you can keep him fit.
Yeah, I've already crawled under an awful lot of low levels and given eaten a lot of humble pie. I do say that they've had a fantastic performance, brilliant performance for me, and you know they're going to struggle getting him out of that team if they want him out of the team, because if he plays like that, then no problem. That's the best team allegedly. That's the best team in Scotland that he's come up against there, and he put out a tremendous performance, commanding performance for me. Superb, no problem. And the humblest apologies, humble pie, and you leave me alone, Andy.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, listen, I'll be coming for you. Don't worry, Bridgeman. But you see the team that played there that started on Saturday, that's the team, barring any injuries, that I would go to the end of the season now. I'll just let them stay and let them, you know, kind of express themselves, you know.
Absolutely right, by the way.
It'll be interesting to see what the team is. It'll be unusual. We've not got 4 injuries for next weekend, Linda.
Yeah, you'll never know what comes out of the weekend when we hear the presser later on. But if everybody's fit enough to start, I don't see why you wouldn't go with the same starting team, unless you want to give one of the younger guys some more pitch time. But I would suspect that wouldn't be the case. Oxley would maybe bring them on the same as he did at the weekend. And maybe the guys that started the game on Saturday have probably earned the right to maybe keep the jersey and go with that same team. It's Hibs away, isn't it? So you maybe, I don't know whether it would be a slightly different approach. I'm not sure. But I don't think any of the fans would be against that same starting team lining up, because they might have earned the right to keep the jersey, Ox.
Well, gentlemen and Linda, we've reached that time of the evening. Last word for your good self, Bob, yeah?
Last word for me. Thanks for having me on again. Thoroughly enjoyed it as usual. They've got a young man between the sticks here that can save the club millions. That's my last point. Good night, everybody, and thank you very much again, Ox, and I'll see you in the near future.
Cheers, Bob, yeah. Andrew.
Just thanks for having us. Great, you know, I like coming on and all that, and refreshing just to hear everybody happy and that. See, at times you see when we're winning, you know, we're the greatest supporters in the world, aren't we? Laughing and jovial. But no, just thanks for having us. Everybody stay safe, and I'll catch you later in the week.
Here, mate. Here. Good to hear from you as always, mate.
No problem.
Linda.
Yeah, great show tonight, Ox. What a difference a win makes. Some great callers and some brilliant discussions. Enjoyed being on with the famous Bridgeman and your good self. And as I say, look forward to the weekend and another top performance from our team. Great show.
Here. Bridgeman.
Oh, what can I say? Following that, thank you, Linda. Look, it's been a fabulous night and some brilliant chat and great discussions about your team, because you know your team, we all know your team. And I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one of them, well done. We are the people. Keep it going for the Rangers. Don't forget us. Keep it going for the Rangers. Everybody keep it going.
Yeah. Can I thank Cammy, Smurf, Kirky, Andy, Bob, yeah, and Ian for YouTube. Great to hear from each and every one of you. Thanks to Linda and Bridge for doing the show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Rangers Radio will be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10, talking about all things Rangers. Thanks for listening, everybody. The other people, take it away, Old School Blue. And Roxy.
Today, forever and for always, we are Rangers through and through. the same. For a new one's born when the blue shirts won, and we all remember the name. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always, we are Rangers through and through. And there is no doubt what we're all about when we face the world.